Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to do another dismal Disney video.
Well, it just keeps handing it to us.
Yeah, right. Mickey just keeps handing us the dismal Disney news on a silver platter carried by a large white-gloved hand.
Hidden Mickey silver platter.
Hidden Mickey silver platter. So there we go. So yeah, people are kind of freaking out because Disney announced a couple days ago that they were restructuring the focus on Disney Plus. And people at first were like, hey, that's great.
I knew exactly what it meant.
They got a plan. Disney's got a plan. No. The plan is that Disney is going to ditch movie theaters, basically, is what they're saying. They're not going to focus on theaters, and anybody that works at movie theaters or did work for movie theaters should know this was coming because they've been deliberately squatting on movies for months. They want to get as much money out of the consumer as they can, and they kept talking about direct to consumer. They don't want to share with the movie theaters.
No, because we've been saying about them, with the monetization, and they've already got like the one French advertising agency and a bunch of stuff going on that they've been focusing on their monetization efforts. The whole thing is because they don't want to release in the theaters, and they want to put ads on everything.
Yeah.
And get brand deals for everything.
Yeah, Disney wants to sell you Disney directly. They don't want to share with anyone. They want to monetize the hell out of it. That's basically, and they're probably going to lay a bunch of people off. That's basically
more people than the 28,000 already. But good news, now they can be more responsible to shareholders. Because I think Chapek mentioned that repeatedly, like 3 or 4 times. That's
so they don't get pushback because a lot of shareholders,
No, this is about the share. This is about giving money to them because they haven't by the balls, basically.
Right. And some
or the
people,
vagina. I'm not going to be discriminating.
People were making the observation that Disney is basically going to be Netflix with theme parks.
Pretty much. That's what it feels like.
Because everything, their TV, their movies, everything, they're going to dump it into Plus. They're not doing video games.
And Hulu and ESPN and that Star or whatever.
And eventually, I can see all those services being kind of combined together. Because why have like 4 different streaming services?
Well, I think it's because like the Stars, because they can't use Hulu over there. It's like an over here thing. So I think in some of the cases it's because of where it's at, geographically.
So now it's starting to sink in, and we said this before. People were like the stock was up.
I knew right off when I read this. What did I say to you?
It's like
this is exactly what's going to happen, and we saw it right away because we look at all this stuff. We knew about their media buyout push that had come up. They actually had I'm pretty sure they had some staffing shakeups a couple months ago to prepare for the media buyout stuff coming in October or November. I mean, it's all tied together.
Yep. So anyway, here we go. Disney abandons movie theaters, focusing on streaming releases. So Scott Mendelsohn, don't get pissed off at the federal government. Get pissed off at the studios who've been deliberately squatting on movies because they all want to have their own streaming services and they don't want to share. They don't want to share.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. They want the government to give them bailouts, and they want to hold on to stuff to make more money later.
So this is coming from Giant Freaking Robot. I love the name of that
I like the
site.
name. That's a very cool name.
They said Disney is arguably the most powerful entertainment entity in the history of humanity.
That's arguable. Go ahead.
Their practices have shaped the foundations of pop culture over the last century and continue to be the industry's leader in how the future of entertainment is going to be ingested. So when the Mouse House announces a change in their distribution, it's not some minor hiccup.
Oh, wait a minute. They're going to be the leader in how the future of entertainment is going to be ingested. You mean what they did? They literally just jumped on the bandwagon last year.
They copied Netflix.
Never leaded it. They never led in direct-to-consumer ever.
Yeah, they basically, I disagree.
Nice name, disagree.
Yeah, they copied Netflix.
They did.
What happened was these studios looked at all the, when Netflix was just kind of starting out, it wasn't a bad deal for them because they're like, oh yeah, we make a little extra money. But then when Netflix started to become a threat to their TV stations and to movie theater and movies and stuff, they're like, wait. We're not going to help them become competition. It was when Netflix started producing their own movies and TV shows, and they viewed them as a competitor. And it's kind of what happened with Amazon, too. Everybody was totally okay with selling through Amazon or whatever until Amazon started competing with everybody making their own gadgets and they're got their own music service now, and
they're okay with it when it benefits them.
Right. So that's what happened. Disney's like, no, we want all the money. So that's what happened. But yeah, it's starting to sink in. And the movie theater owners should be pissed off because Disney has movies they could release to the theater. and they're not doing it.
Oh yeah, they have a bunch that could do it. For all their talk, and it's not just Disney, Hollywood in general, these studios, all their talk about movie theaters needed a bailout, we need help. What about the theaters are gonna be gone? What are we gonna do? The government needs to give us money. It's like, you guys have the stuff. You can release it. You can save the theaters that you now say you need when you didn't need them when you were going to direct to video. You can save them. You just refuse to because you won't make as much money then.
Yeah, and that's just it. Because the reason the theaters are, Regal is closing down, and Tenet actually did pretty okay. They released Tenet. I mean, it wasn't going to break $1 billion. That movie honestly probably wasn't going to break $1 billion.
No, probably not. But they're not going to have that again for a while.
No, but it made $300 million, over $300 million. That would certainly help these movie theaters out if they released Black Widow, if they released Wonder Woman, if they released Ghostbusters. All these movies that were supposed to get released this year, they're squatting on them. And you gotta wonder, was this the game plan all along? Like, we will use the movie theaters until they're no longer necessary, and then we'll just squeeze them out. And then consumers will be forced to go to Disney. And it's not just Disney. It's going to be HBO Max doing the same thing. It's going to be NBC Universal doing it with Peacock.
Well, here they have it here. Coming to America 2 is going to go straight to streaming to Amazon Prime.
I actually had that.
Did you? Yeah.
I had that pulled up because it's not just Disney. Everybody's going to blame Disney for it.
No, it's not just Disney.
I mean, Disney is pinched the hardest right now, but really it was Universal that kicked the whole thing off because with Trolls, they skipped the theaters and they brought Trolls 2 out, and the theater owners had a fit, but they're having a fit about Soul too. Soul they're shocked and dismayed.
I don't think Soul was going to ever bring a lot of money. I really don't. They're holding the ones that are, like, Black Widow, and like they're holding Wonder Woman, the other studios and stuff. It's just they're holding back the big ones, the Ghostbusters, all that. The ones that are going to make the money, they're all holding back. Soul would have done okay, but I don't think Soul was going to be like this big performer.
No, I think because it's not a Pixar movies do well. It's kind of a mixed bag. Like the Toy Story movies do really well.
But then Onward was like, eh.
Yeah. Now this one though is getting rave reviews. Now, gotta wonder if Disney isn't up to its old tricks. Now I will tell you, and I've said it in multiple videos, I'm actually looking forward to Soul. I know you're not really into it that much. It is a Pete Docter movie. He did Up and he did Inside Out.
Well, then I do have more hope for it, but I'm with, it receives incredible Rotten Tomato scores. Well, that doesn't mean anything. We've seen this with Disney before. They've gotten incredible Rotten Tomato scores, and then when the people are allowed to see it, they're like, this sucked.
Yeah, so what's going on though is it's kind of like, because they've announced already it's coming out Christmas, right? They're already like letting the critics see it. It's got 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Out of how many critics?
I think there's like 17 or 18 critics.
And are they the usual people who kiss Disney's ass?
Yeah.
Well, then there you go.
But this is going to be a marketing thing. Oh, guys.
No, they are. Well, clearly.
Yeah, guys, you have to subscribe to Disney Plus because we have this incredible movie that we're giving you as a gift on Christmas. It's got 100% score on Rotten Tomatoes.
Well, I wonder how they're going to keep moving forward, because after we did Milan, where they insisted you had to buy it through Disney Plus, and the only way you didn't get to keep it unless you kept your subscription every month. It's the only way you're allowed to keep your access to it. But then they turned around a month later without telling anybody and released it, or well, they haven't yet, I guess a couple days, to video on demand, where they're allowed to keep the damn movie and not have to pay a monthly subscription.
Yes, if I knew that they were going to do that, and they were really dodgy on that, we would have just bought it through Vudu or whatever, because we could keep, not that I have any interest in watching Mulan again, it's garbage, but...
if we had, we wouldn't have to keep paying for Disney Plus.
Yeah, well, yeah, so... Yeah, this is going to be really interesting, because again, they could release any of these movies and it would have helped at least Regal stay in business.
Do you know why I think they did that with the Disney Plus? Because a lot of people's free Disney Plus they got through Verizon or whatever was going to run out.
They did
it so that people would continue, because when they count their paid subscribers and record-breaking numbers, they count those free ones in there because they say, well, it's paid. Yes, it's paid. It's paid for by Verizon and by you with your package with Verizon. So those are still considered paid accounts. They're not paying the full rate, but they're still considered paid. So technically that's those numbers. And those numbers were going to drop significantly when those free accounts were up.
Yeah, wait, guys, you can't cancel Disney Plus yet because we got more Mandalorian coming and we got Soul coming.
All announced right around the time people's free subscriptions were going to end. I'm just pointing that out.
That is a good observation. So WDW Pro, who has been writing for us on piratesandprincesses.net, he is a legit Disney Insider.
Yay, pro!
Yay Pro, he put an article up yesterday talking about Disney's shrinking portfolio. And in regards to this situation, he's basically talking about the decline of Marvel. Movie theaters may be gone by next year, and the MCU might be critically in danger because they pushed the movies back so far now. We're talking, 2-3 years out from Marvel.
It's like a domino effect. You move one, it messes it all up.
They went from having like 2 or 3 Marvel movies a year, every year, like clockwork, building up to Endgame. And now we're going to take this break. And then when they bring the MCU back, it's going to be like all new characters, all different.
Right.
And people already are like, yeah, I don't give a shit.
Except for the ones you get on Disney Plus.
Except for the ones on Disney Plus, right? So when you factor in that Disney has made itself so dependent on sequels and periodic releases of episodic mega blockbusters, it's not certain Disney can quickly change course for their films. There might not be any more mega blockbusters for at least 18 months. So what that means is Disney's portfolio has significantly contracted due to the pandemic and their own, this is important because we talked about this, their own poor business practices prior.
Yep.
They weakened. So for everybody being like, oh, Disney, everything was fantastic, and then COVID hit. It was like, no. Disney screwed up with Star Wars. They massively screwed up with Fox. That was the biggest cluster ever. Huge waste of money. So we're now at the point where going forward, Disney looks basically like Netflix with a major theme park resort. I've heard a lot of people say that. They're sure to paint a rosy picture soon about how they prepared themselves for this new paradigm shift, but the old paradigm sure did see them through a more robust set of services. Disney's going to be basically just another streaming service, and there's so many of them.
I know. And Disney always was set apart because they weren't like everybody else. Now they're going to just be like everybody else.
They're going to be just like everybody else. And when it comes to animation, which is what Disney is known for, a lot of the really talented Disney animators have already left. They're going to Netflix. Mm-hmm. Netflix is talking they're going to crank out 6 movies a year.
Well, they were known for the theme parks, and it was the Disney difference because they're all about family and all that. But then when it came down to it, they threw us people under the bus to have more money for investors. And they keep going on about how what their number one priority is investors.
Yeah.
Disney difference, my ass.
And for all their talk of supporting movie theaters, and they had this big flower, we love theaters. Theaters are great. No, they don't. In fact, Disney was bullying movie theaters just a couple of years ago.
Yeah, they want a bigger take. Like, we're going to give you these big movies, but you better make sure the ticket prices are higher, and you better give us more of a cut. If you don't abide by these rules, you don't get to run the movie. And
so what's going to happen now is they're going to take advantage of the situation and basically help run the theaters out so they can pocket all the money, because people still want new movies, but they're going to pay Disney directly.
It's like, no, stop.
Don't shut down Regal. Gosh, Regal, I sure wish we could help you. You don't have any new releases. It's a real shame that we don't have about half a dozen movies that we're sitting on.
But you know whose fault it is? The government.
It's the government's fault. Blame Trump. It's all Trump. If it wasn't for Trump, we would be releasing Black Widow right now, and you can make some money.
Even though that's the local state-owned governments that run the theater openings. But
the rest of the country, though, can run it.
Yeah, it's the big market. It's on the big markets like New York and California won't open. But the studios, then they're putting it like, we're trying to save the theaters because they don't want to be the bad guys. But they're going to, like you said, keep more of it if they don't have the studios. Or what's going to happen is they'll run them out and then they'll buy their own studios, because they were trying to get that overturned, where studios couldn't own the theaters.
Oh yeah, the Paramount decree.
Right, they were trying to get that overturned. So what's going to happen? The studios are going to go run out, or the theaters are going to run out, and the studios are going to go buy the theaters up, and they're going to own them themselves.
Disney and that'll be the positive spin. Disney saves AMC. Disney saves Regal. Oh, now that Magic is on every street corner, we've got our own Disney theaters. All you got to do is buy it on Disney Plus first, and then scan the QR code at the theater. Then you can watch it on the big screen and buy popcorn with little Mickey-shaped kernels.
That's right, and then give Disney more money.
Disney
I'm just saying,
more money.
They were trying to overturn that before. The studios were trying to buy the theaters before. And theaters are trying to stop it because they knew it was going to happen. So for all they were about the theaters, no, they're not. They could have saved the theaters at any time. They just or given them money to keep them afloat and keep them open until they could get to the big releases. They're not. They're trying to push it onto the American people and the taxpayers to cover it.
Yeah, and they're already talking. AMC will probably be out of business within 6 months.
Mm-hmm. Which you kept saying. I saw an article the other day said the exact same thing. So
yeah.
He said it first.
Yeah, they don't have enough money to survive. I saw the sheets they actually had in Ergo, and they made like $37 million this year total. Like,
wow,
it's dire.
I was surprised at that high. Honestly.
Yeah, really.
So.
But they were talking even, just being down for a month. I remember like a month into the shutdown, they were like, we are completely screwed. Their CEO was like, we are screwed. And again, all it would take if these studios actually cared, if Disney actually cared, Warner and all the rest of them, if they actually cared, they would actually, release those movies they're sitting on. They won't do it.
No.
So, and I think it's intentional. I think so
too.
So, all right, why share if you don't have to?
That's right.
All right, so we're going to wrap this one up?
Yep.
Okay, so please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.